So today we're going to talk about the most difficult part of putting your plan together, and that is building the financial model. As you all know, I've been teaching for about a quarter of a century. I've done 30 startups. I've taught executive MBAs at the top business school in the world, the Wharton School, and everybody has difficulty putting together financial models. It's not easy, but I tried to simplify it today. And I'm using two examples that I think are easily relatable to you. One is a product business, starting a t-shirt business. The other one is a service business, which is math tutoring. So I'm going to go through all the things that you need to know. And I think maybe during the month of January, I might do a second class in this if people are interested to get them to understand it. And I'll also send sample spreadsheets so people can see what it takes to build these models. But believe me, this is not easy. I teach this from freshmen to seniors at VinUnivesity, and it takes them a while to understand it. And you really can't use chat to go and build this for you because it's kind of complex to go and do. There's a lot of information that you have to find to put this together. But again, for the competition, I just need you to build a basic model. It's just too much to ask of you, especially being anywhere from 10th, 11th, or 12th graders. But I tried to simplify it for you so you really have an understanding of it. So let's move forward and talk about what you need to understand. So there are a variety of different product costs that you have to think about. And they are product design costs, the cost of designing how the product looks and works before it's built. You have to prototype your idea and the cost of making early versions of your product and testing them to see what works and what fails. The cost of checking products to make sure they work properly and meet safety or quality standards. And then you got storage costs. I mean, where are you going to put all the materials you need and how you're going to go and sell and ship things. So there's additional expenses like equipment, maintenance, and repairs. And in your case, you're not going to buy any equipment. You're going to find somebody who can actually build this for you. And the great thing about being in Vietnam is that there are plenty of people who can actually build things for you here. So much manufacturing. But you have to think about utility costs, what the electricity bills are going to be, and water and internet that you have to spend money on. You have to think about permits that you need because you can't just go and start a business without letting the government know and getting permits for your ideas. Now, don't worry, in the competition, you don't have to worry about that right now. You just have to understand what those costs will be. Because if you end up raising money and you decide to move forward, then we're going to give you coaching on all of this. And then there's also returns and replacements. Now, that's not so common in Vietnam. Usually when you buy something, you can't return it. But if something isn't working, you're going to have to replace it because that's an expectation. And when you're selling products and services in the United States, especially products, if the product doesn't work or someone doesn't want it after they get it, you can return it. Every company accepts returns on most everything. There are certain things like if you wear a new suit and you rip it, well, it's yours. They're not going to take it back. Or if you wear a suit and you sweat through it and there's sweat stains in it, it's yours. You're going to keep it. You're not going to be able to take it back. So there are two different types of cost. They're fixed cost and variable cost, and I'll explain what those are. So a fixed cost might be machines that product or a hiring company might use. The product design is a fixed cost because how the product looks and works before it's built. The prototyping is a definite fixed cost because you're making different versions of the product and you're testing it. And the permits and licenses are definitely fixed cost because you pay for them one time a year. And there's nothing variable about that. Nothing is going to go and change with that. And then there's product liability insurance. Here in Vietnam, they don't make you buy product liability insurance like they do in the US, but there's an expectation that you'll have it because somebody can still sue you here in Vietnam if in fact you don't have insurance. So you'd look it up. It's not that expensive. And then there's labor and accident occupational disease insurance. That's what it's called in Vietnam. And that's actually required to protect your workers. Now, if you're a startup like you guys and you come up with the idea, you're probably not buying that because you're going to outsource this to a manufacturer and they're going to have that insurance. Equipment maintenance and repairs, unless you're going to go and buy your own machine, like if we're talking about making t-shirts and you decide to buy your own machine, then you're going to have to go and put money aside to make sure that that machine works. But again, I think any business where you're developing a product, you're going to outsource this to somebody else and they're going to build it for you. You'll have utility costs like electricity, internet, and other services because you'll have your own office. And so you'll be paying for those things. But on a grand scale, you won't be paying for electricity and water because you're not going to need that because you're not going to manufacture these products yourself. And the other utility cost you have is your mobile phone as well. So what are variable costs? Variable costs are the materials that you're using. So the cost of the physical items to make the product, the time it takes to arrange materials and build the product itself. I've worked with people who make cakes. And I remind them that when they're making a cake, they have to make a list of all the ingredients. They have to get in their car, and that costs time and money. They have to get to the supermarket or wherever they're buying from. They take their list, they buy everything, and that takes time. They get back in their car, that takes time. They go back, and they have to lay out all of the materials out on a table. That takes time. Organizing it takes time. And then they're ready to actually start making it. And now it's the time it takes to build the product, the cost for the person to actually build the product. So if you're building it yourself, how much is that going to cost you? So if you were making $5 an hour as a tutor, then you have to calculate it costs you $5 an hour as a tutor. If you can go get friends to do it and they're willing to go and do it for 75,000 or 100,000 dong per hour, then that's going to be your cost to do it. Or if you have to outsource this and you're going to find out from the company that's doing it for you what the cost per person is. And then there's packaging costs because whatever you're building, you're going to have to put in some kind of package, whether it's a box, what they're usually beautifully done in Vietnam. You're going to have to buy labels and put labels on it. And you might put a ribbon on it. So all of those things cost money. You have to know what each of those costs is going to be. Then you're talking about distribution and quality. Distribution costs, the cost of moving the product from where it's made to the stores or warehouses. So if you're selling it online and now you're sending it to people's houses, what's it going to cost? And are you going to charge them to receive it? More than likely, you're going to add that cost in and calculate that for them and say to them, the t-shirt costs $10 or it's 500,000 dong. And for us to ship it to you, it's another 100,000 dong. And so that's what the cost is going to be. Then you're talking about mailing costs, as I just mentioned, quality control costs, the cost of checking products to make sure they properly work. You're going to have somebody testing everything out to make sure it works. You're going to have somebody wash the t-shirts and see if the material holds up. You're going to have somebody stretch it, wear it on people bigger, smaller. You're going to do all kinds of quality control to make sure the product is going to live up to what you told people. And then there's storage costs, the cost of storing products or materials someplace. So you might do it at your home. You might go rent a place. But there's going to be a storage cost. And then returns and replacements. So if your t-shirt is ripped or the colors came out wrong or the writing came out wrong, and that happens, you're going to have to go and replace it or refund their money. So it's good for you to go and know that. And then there's marketing and sales variable costs. So the cost of promoting the product so your customers know it exists and want to buy it. So you'll go the cheapest way first, which is just social media. But as things start to grow and you want to speed up more sales, you might be buying advertising on Google or Shopee or any of these places. You might be printing up flyers and having friends put flyers around town. And then the sales cost of convincing customers to buy, including salespeople. So you might have friends working for you that you're paying per hour, or you're paying them a commission saying, hey, if you sell my t-shirt for me, I'll pay you 20% of the sales price for the t-shirt. So if the t-shirt cost $10 that you're selling, or 500,000 dung, you're going to give them 20%, 100,000 dung for every t-shirt they sell. Or that they might buy the t-shirts from you for $8 and they're selling them at their own schools for $15. So they might be selling them for 300,000 dung or something along those lines. So here's a checklist that I'll send to all of you, a one-page checklist that gives you the fixed cost and the variable cost, just so you know when you're putting together your Excel spreadsheet, and now you know all the things that are going into it. Again, you'll do the best you can. Nobody's expecting this to be perfect. It's hard stuff to go and do. So simple calculation formula. There's a 3-step calculation. First, you calculate your total fixed cost per month. So that's your machines, your design, your prototyping, your permits, your insurance, your maintenance, your utilities. And the next thing you're going to do is your variable cost. That's your label, your packaging, your shipping, your quality control, your storage. I don't mention on here, but other part of the variable cost are going to be marketing and sales and rent and other items. But I tried to simplify this for you. And then you put together the total cost, which is variable per unit cost. That's your total fixed cost, and plus the number of products you're making. And now you're coming out with a number. So the pricing formula using net profit margin is that you decide your net profit margin. What do you need to make? And I always tell people, you probably want to make at least a net of 20% to 25%. And so you're figuring out what the percentage is your low risk learning of the business, strong the small business profit, very strong or premium product. So if you were selling jewelry, you'll sell jewelry for like 10 times what it cost you to make it, maybe even more than 10 times what you cost to go and make it. So anything that you're personally making that may be considered valuable, like jewelry, like a unique stuffed animal, you might be able to get a much higher margin for that than if, in fact, you were selling pens, which are a commodity that people can buy anywhere. Even if you make it a really cool pen, people might not be willing to spend that kind of money. But if you create a certain type of stuffed animal that nobody's seen before and you think it's really cute, you may be able to charge a much higher premium for that. Or if you go and create a really coolly designed t-shirt and it's so unique and everybody wants to buy it, then you know that you can charge a much higher premium for that and you make better margins. So step 5, calculate and correct a correct selling price. So it's the total cost for the product, and the total net margin will give you your selling price. And I'll show you calculations here. So a service business cost breakdown. So there's training and certification, the cost of learning the skills or earning a certification needed to provide the service. So more than likely, if you're going to be a math tutor, you might want to go online and get certified for it so parents feel good about it. If you are the math whiz at your high school and kids are asking you to teach them math, then you don't need that. But if you decide, I'm going to really expand this business to multiple schools where they don't necessarily know me, then that might be very valuable to you. Then the permits and license, cost of legal permission required to offer your service. So you have to find out from the government, what would that cost for you to do, especially now, because the government is looking to collect more tax revenue so they can reinvest it back into Vietnam. Then there's your utilities and internet cost. You know what it might cost you to access the internet and your mobile phone cost. And you can ask your parents if you're more than likely your parents are paying for this for you. And you can put that into the calculation. You can also go online and ask chat, give me the cost of all these different things, put it into an Excel spreadsheet for me, and tell me what these costs are for me living in Hanoi, Vietnam. Then there's equipment and tool cost, buying or renting tools, devices, or software needed to deliver the service. You might be signing up for QuickBooks to do your bookkeeping. You might be signing up for Microsoft professional services product, and you're paying a yearly annual subscription fee, or you're paying a subscription fee to MindPal done by VinUnivesity students. And so there's a cost to that. But more than likely, you're using all the free things that you can get on Google so you can keep your costs down. The insurance, the cost of insurance that protects the business if the customer is injured or something goes wrong. You'll probably want to look at insurance so your parents don't get sued, because you're a minor. If you start something and it doesn't work out and somebody gets injured, they're going to look to sue somebody, and you don't have money and your parents do. So you're more than likely going to look about, how do I get insurance for this? And the marketing setup cost, the cost of creating the website, your flyers, your social media pages to promote the service. And there's a lot of free stuff out there. So, and I know how creative all of you are, because I see it in my classes, much more adept at making these changes than I am. Then the service business variable cost, labor time to deliver the service, when you're actually tutoring. And you just don't charge for, if you're going to somebody's house, you got to charge them for the time it takes to get there, the time it takes to do the tutoring, and the time it takes to go home. So if you were going to charge somebody 250 dong, $10 an hour to do what you're doing, if you know the travel takes X amount of time, maybe you're not charging 250,000 dong, maybe you're charging 500,000 dong, and that includes your travel cost up and back to that person. If you're just doing it online with them, then maybe there's no travel cost. And you tell people, if I do it online, it's 250,000. If I actually have to come to your house, it's 500,000. Then you have to figure out your preparation time, the time it costs for you to prepare. So before you figure out how much you're going to charge per hour, you have to go and figure out, how long does it take you to prepare, materials used during the service, again, the travel or transportation, marketing costs to let everybody know you're offering this. And again, that's probably zero. Sales cost is just your time to go and do this, unless you're hiring people to help sell you. And then there's a cost there, and maybe it's to commission, but that means you're reducing how much you're making. And then you want to, here's a checklist of all the cost: training certificate, equipment and tools, permits and licenses, insurance, utilities, all these different things that you need to know. And then the total cost. How do you go and figure all of this out? And so you put all of that into an Excel spreadsheet, and I'm going to send you sample spreadsheets from things I've done for people. And so that way you can best understand how to go about doing it. So let me stop right here and answer questions for you. So I'm going to put up to chat, and any question that you may have, and you're going to all get copies of this. Feel free to type in your question. And again, if you said, hey, Mark, could you do this again next Sunday and do this all over again, because I'll have more questions and it's kind of complicated, I'd be glad to do it again next week, and I might still do it regardless next week because it might help more people, especially after I send them this presentation. Anybody with any questions for me? And it can be about any business at all. And if you want to, you can always write to me and ask me these questions, and then I can put together a list of questions people asked and provide the answers to everyone. And I hope all of you are applying to our competition. This year, we would like to get to 200 students nationwide. I think this is very important for Vietnam's future, that we grow a strong entrepreneurial community here in Vietnam in order for Vietnam to have long-term success. So please ask me any question that you want. I hope these series that I've been running have been helpful to you, and I hope I tried to make it simple. So please let me know if there's something I can do better. Any questions? And it doesn't even have to be about today's class. Any question you have for me, even about the competition, which is free, 25 million in prize money. What are the key factors to making a health tech startup attractive to investors, despite a potentially long return on investment? So here it is, and this goes for anything. First of all, there has to be a problem that people are willing to pay to have solved. And with health tech startups, if you're talking about, it depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about a medical device, and you have to get patents to be able to protect it so it's unique, so somebody can't just easily copy it. But if you're talking about developing like AI software for a high-tech startup to make it attractive, you have to have a big enough market, and it could be $1 billion opportunity. Or even here in Vietnam, if it's $100 million opportunity, which are still big opportunity. So it has to be a big market. It has to be one that people absolutely want to pay for because they think this is going to help. So if you created a health tech cybersecurity for doctors' offices throughout Vietnam in order to protect patient information, and they would say, oh my gosh, that would be great because we're afraid of getting hacked and information being stolen. And you're telling us you're going to charge us 25,000 dong per patient per year, and I have 1,000 patients, and I'm paying you $1,000 US a year. Oh, okay, I can do that. That would be great. Now you find out that there are 50,000 doctors' offices in Vietnam, and now you realize, well, that's a really big market because if I got 500 doctors to go and use this, I can make really good money. And if I can get 1,000 doctors, well, I'm making great money. And if I can get 20% of the market, it's really amazing. So I hope that answered your question, that it has to be a big growing market, has to be a problem that people are willing to pay and solve. There has to be a few competitors in the market, so you don't have to educate the entire market about this, because I found from doing it a few times for myself and others that if we're first and we have to educate the market, we could run out of money before the market understands what we're selling. If you would like to type in a more specific type of business in health tech startup, then I can dive deeper into that. But if that answered your question, great. Anybody else with questions? Again, it can be about anything. And I do need your help in spreading the word. We really want a lot of students to participate in this. I think even if you don't become an entrepreneur yourself, this is good learning for you to figure out, what do you really want to do when you graduate college, or when you enter college, what do you want to major in? And of course, at VinUni, we really care to make sure that when you get through our school, that you have a job the day you graduate and that it's something exciting for you. So we talk about entrepreneurship early on so you can learn about all facets of business and decide, do I want to be an entrepreneur on my own, an entrepreneur working for someone else, or do I want to do a specific job in a company? Or if I'm in the medical field, what do I want to focus on in the medical area? Any other questions for me? I do all this for free because I really feel this is the future of Vietnam. And I want to make sure that you all have amazing opportunities. Question 2, how can I demonstrate the effectiveness of this health tech idea to attract investors, given that it requires initial funding and the results can only prove its impact due to ethical and humanitarian considerations? It's funny you should ask this. I'm actually developing a unicorn platform and to help start billion-dollar businesses. And the first thing that I learned is you create a PowerPoint that you're describing what the problem is and what the solution is, and you're doing market research, and you're seeing if this is an actual problem that people want solved. So we would go and send this information to whoever you think you're targeting and see if they're interested. Before you build anything, you got to see if there's an interest. I've made this mistake a few times of solving a problem that I thought needed solving, and all the research was there. And then when I went to the actual customer, nobody cared to spend money on it. So you can describe what you're looking to do without giving away anything, and find out if they're interested. If they go, oh my God, this would be so helpful to me, then you can ask them to give you an email saying, if you build it, I would be glad to be a beta tester. And if it works, I'd be glad to be a buyer. And then you can put all of those first customers onto your advisory board, and they can help you revise your product service. And then they can also help you sell it to other people. So they know you can't make money just selling it to them. But if it's a problem that lots of people have, then they're okay with that. Everybody shares essentially in the cost, or it costs them more money. And actually is good for your customer to help you get other customers, because then you can lower your cost. That's why Microsoft costs so little, is because they have so many customers that they can make sure that everybody can afford it. So I hope that answered your question, that all you need at this point is a PowerPoint to show to potential customers, here's what I'm looking to develop for you, and let me know, would this help me? So by the way, you can send me your idea and make it a pitch to me as if I were an investor, and I can give you some quick feedback. But I would say, whatever you put together, the first thing is you would put it together to get buyers interested. But for our competition, all you have to do right now is share with us the idea, and we'll give you feedback on it. And if it looks like it's a good idea, even if you don't win the competition, we're glad to make introductions for you to help you get in front of potential customers. I really have a big focus in 2026 of helping anybody with any idea see if there's a real market for this idea. Any other questions for me? Please tell me, was this PowerPoint today helpful? If you could just send me a quick note here and tell me if I made this topic easy to understand, I'd appreciate it. If it was hard to understand and you think there's something better I can do, please send me a note about that. It would be so helpful. I want this to be very worth your while. Any other questions? Anything at all you want to ask me. Don't be shy about asking anything. There's no dumb questions. I'm hoping that many of you will be applying to our school, and I'll get to teach you when you come to VinUnivesity. You find I spent a lot of time with students. Anything at all? I, oh, good. I'm glad that you felt that was easier to understand and slower speaking. Awesome. Thank you so much. And is this also a good time? I felt like 10 to 11 on a Sunday is enough time to sleep in and at the same time not take time out of your day. Anybody else with any other comments? Any questions at all? Again, you can always write to me. You all got my email, I know already, but I'll give it to you again. Okay, I will let you all go for today. I will send you a copy of the PowerPoint and a copy of the video as well in case you want to watch it again. And again, I think I may do this over again next Sunday as well. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope you have a wonderful new year in 2026. And please, if you haven't applied, please apply. Thank you.